before Christmas. You know what I'm talking about. Bondi. That should never ever happen on this soil. So today I want to say to you that invading religions are probably the biggest threat that we're going to see in these countries. And already it is dangerous to even turn up and wave the Aussie flag. What the hell is it if you turn up to a place and you can't even feel comfortable to wave the Australian flag? I hear just from one of the brothers over here, over the bridge, someone is actually burning the Australian flag. What on earth is going on with that? What I want to say to you today is that there's one key umbrella, pillar and truth that Australia must return to. It's got to do with the constitution of this country. It's got to do with the founding principles of it. And it says we call on the Lord God to guide us into the future for this country.
Amen.
I want to say to you very briefly that it's not just immigration, it's not just the countries, the colour, doesn't matter if they're purple, blue, white, yellow, green, black, that has nothing to do with it. It's the ideology and the religion that they have that causes something to happen that is disruptive to the peace and the safety of our children in these countries. I'm finishing up on this last thing. Last year we were privileged to go over to the UK and stand with Tommy Robinson. And my father, Brian Tommy, was a keynote speaker, a foremost civil activist in New Zealand today. We went, a lot of us went to stand, and there's one thing that is commonly happening in the Western countries, is that Christianity has been abandoned. Now I'm not saying to you, this Sunday go to church, well, I hope you do. I'm not saying that you should pray every day, I hope you do. But one thing we have to do is when you leave a void and you're not clear on it, something else moves in. Now the spineless government, yes, but also the people have decided the future of this country. So now it's time for the people to rise up and to restore their belief in Christianity. For your forefathers and your great-grandparents, I can guarantee you, returning up to church and the principles that founded this country were slipped away from, and therefore the blessing has been removed from this country. So I propose that politicians who believe in the faith, those who have the guts to stand up and not protect their career, would start to table a Christian Values Act. A Christian Values Act must be put forward so that a stake is put in the ground, so when you come into this country, before you even come in, you realise that it's a Christian nation. So therefore, Islam cannot just walk in and do what it wants. Sikhism cannot just walk in and do what it wants. It's not racism, it's just protecting and guarding and standing strong for the principles in which this country is founded on. Right now, Sikhism in New Zealand is rampant. They're allowed to carry swords legally. They can jump on their motorbikes with their turban. They don't need a helmet. Meanwhile, me and my brothers, we did a stand not too long ago. We jumped on our Harleys. No helmet, fine. Can you hear what I'm saying? There's two sets of laws going on. It's now time for the people to put a stake in the ground and say, this country, Australia, is a Christian country. Thank you.
Give these guys a big thank you. They volunteered for security today, so they saved us lots of money. Very generous of them. Now we've got Malcolm Roberts. This man's faithful loyal. He is the heart of One Nation. We're very grateful for him to be here today. Thanks, Malcolm.
Love, care, and reasoning are three fundamental unique traits that are unique to human beings. I want to thank you so much for your love and your care for Australia Day and for Australia. Give yourselves a pat on the back. It's the best thing you can do today. And for your reasoning, because you know that what you're doing here is protecting our country, actually restoring our country. You're the first step. Look at all the proud Aussies. Give yourselves another cheer. Come on, really put your heart into it. That's it, wave the flag. I want to thank everyone for being here, every single person. I want to thank the Young Nation volunteers in the tents down there that have provided water. Thank you so much. Any young people want to sign up with Young Nation, go ahead there. I want to thank especially the Jesus Christ banner and the group that's supporting that. That is very, very important. So thank you so much for bringing Christianity back. I want to thank a wonderful lady, I won't mention her name because I haven't got permission, sitting right here in the front row. She had serious treatments. She got out of hospital just a few days ago. Serious operations. She's here! And she said, I can't march, but I'll be there. I want to thank the Queensland Police Service and the Australian Federal Police. I want to thank the band. The band has done a great job. The one thing that I want you all to remember is they tried to cancel Australia Day and failed because we, the people, said, no, go to hell. The approval ratings for Australia Day are now soaring again, getting back. The woke is ending. This matters because there are two structures on which civilization is built. The family, and they're trying to destroy that, and the nation state, and they're trying to destroy that. Your work is extremely important. The second thing I want you to remember is they're now aiming to cancel Australia, not Australia Day, Australia. In 1901 through to 1920, we had the world's highest income per capita. They're destroying our country now. How? Energy, cost of living, housing, immigration, bureaucratism, woke, many, many ways. There's one really important way that's affecting all of those, and that's mass immigration. I'm an immigrant, but it's mass immigration. We have changed the way we bring people into this country. There are 6 words to remember. First of all, numbers. John Howard started mass immigration from the Liberal National Party. He doubled immigration in his term in office, doubled it. Every Prime Minister since then has increased it further. This mongrel in Canberra right now, he has brought in 1.5 million people in 2 years. 750,000 a year. Over 500,000, 500,000 net migration. We have got 4.7 million non-Australian, non-citizens in our country at the moment. We have 2.9 million residents on temporary resident visas. We have 100,000 here illegally, and they're not deporting them. One Nation says, remigrate, deport those here illegally. We have I think this number is correct, 600,000 students. 600,000 foreign students. We have beds for 100,000. They're taking up space that Australian families can take up. That's causing the rental crisis and the housing crisis. Where is the care? Where is the love? Where is the reasoning? There's no sense behind this unless you understand the global agenda. We need to end mass immigration. Go back to negative net migration. Bring in fewer people than leave. The second word, quality. Skills, productive, language, law. Want to abide by our culture. That's what they looked at before. Not now. Anybody can come in here. And preferably people who hate Australia. That's what they're bringing in. People who hate Australia. So it's the quality. And Albanese saying we're bringing in construction workers. That's bullshit, because I'll tell you why. They're bringing in 0.6% construction workers of the migrants. 99.4% are not construction workers, but the 0.6 are building houses supposedly for the 99.4. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. No care. Then the third word I want you to remember is culture. It's the most important determinant of safety, security, productivity, economic activity, wealth, and they're trashing it. They're trashing our culture. That is vital to our country. No care there. And what they're telling migrants now is multiculturalism is the way to go. Well, we say it's not. We've been saying for 30 years now, integrate is essential. That's the fourth word, integrate. Multicultural is a farce, it's a joke, it's ripping across the country, because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to rip apart countries. Think about the tight five. Wonderful people. Japan, Taiwan, Korea, China, Singapore. They are very fussy who they let into their country. Very fussy. And they need to be, because that is the key to their strength. So there, and then the last word is identity. That is extremely important. It's something I only realised. That is a very, very important part of identification of people, and it applies within this country. One nation. I'm not talking about my political party. I'm talking about one nation. That's what's fundamental to any group of people. The Broncos wouldn't be any good until they start to coalesce. Party's no good until they start to coalesce. Any group of people, if they've got unity. So we need Australia to restore unity. The disunity has been deliberate. The division has been deliberate. The last word I want to talk about is the anti-human scam. I've been around the country many times talking about, this is before I got into Parliament, as a volunteer, talking about the climate scam, exposing the climate fraud. And one of the best people I used to speak with was Bob Carter, Professor Bob Carter. And one day he said to me, "This has got to be the biggest scam ever, Malcolm." And I said, "It's not even close, Bob." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Look at the money scam, printing money out of thin air." He said, "Okay, that's bigger." I said, "But that's not the biggest. The biggest scam is the anti-human scam. It's been indoctrinated since the 1960s with the Club of Rome for the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. They're telling us, they're indoctrinating our kids from when they're this high. You are greedy, rapacious, uncaring, irresponsible, you just don't care. That's what they're indoctrinating into our heads and into kids' heads. The future of this country relies upon people waking up. Think about this too. They're saying because you're greedy, rapacious, uncaring, irresponsible, unkind, you need to hand over your power to us. Because their agenda, in their own bureaucratic words, is of one unelected socialist global governance. They're humans, but they think they can tell us that they should govern us. The fundamental fact is that if you look at every single person here, you are evidence that humans care. You are startling evidence, because when a foal is born, it drops out of its mother, the mare, and in about half an hour it's trotting, then it sidles up to its mum and it starts suckling, then in about 3 months it starts chewing on grass, and then it just moves with the herd. 3 months! How long did you take to mature? How long did you take to be self-sufficient? That's the point. You are evidence, I am evidence that someone cared for us. It's innate in humans to care. It's innate in humans to love. I'm not talking about nurturing. Every animal does that. Most animals do that. I'm talking about love, care and reasoning. It's vital to understand that. There is no reasoning in the immigration policies. Not in the numbers, the quality, the culture, the lack of integration and the identity. None. There is no care. There is no love. An immigration policy must serve, number one, not immigrants, it must serve the people already here. We need to end mass migration and get our country sorted out. So what I say to you is the solution. Enforce the law. We didn't need the anti-Semitism bill on Tuesday. They haven't been enforcing their own laws, the Labor Party, since 2010 and 2025. We didn't need that. We just need to enforce the law and enforce the law on immigration. We need to deport, remigrate people who are here illegally, including students, and people who don't fit in. We need to tighten standards as to who we let in this country. The second thing we need to do, and now I'm preaching to the converted because you're already doing this. The second thing we need to do is the top tier of our country, the people of Australia. Have a look in the Constitution. They're the ones with the power. The people of Australia need to wake the hell up and take back the country. And thank you for being awake to that and for doing that. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for protecting Australia. Thank you for celebrating Australia. Thank you very much for being humans and for being Australians. and for being here today. I want you to think about this, please, the last thing I say. Be proud of being human. Be proud of being Australian. I know you're proud. Use your love, care, and reasoning. And thank you so much.
Malcolm Roberts.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Biddy O'Loughlin. For those of you who do, then I guess you knew that already. Hope you've got your hats on today. It's pretty hot. A couple of years ago I had to get a suspicious mole removed from my nose. It wasn't Penny Wong. I had to cut off a tiny bit of my nose to spite melanoma. Now I've got that real Aussie look. We've got a look. It's bits of your nose cut out. Whenever I catch guys looking at my nose, I'm like, oi, eyes down here. So I'm a cancelled comedian, and I just wanted to stoke a little bit of pride today in the Aussie sense of humour. We are one of the funniest people on the planet, but turn on your TV these days and you'd be forgiven for thinking we were fools. Don't worry, it's just the ABC. For too long, the elites have held the mic, spinning yarns about how we're villains in our own backyard. They talk about not punching down, and that's all they ever do to this country. The stories we tell shape who we are as a nation, and a bunch of ungrateful losers we are not. So it is time to take back the mic. Last year on Australia Day, I did a comedy show in Adelaide, and it had to be kept secret. This Australian Day comedy show had to be kept secret from online trolls because they would hound and harass any venue that let me tell jokes. How un-Australian is that? There were comics on that lineup who had African, Lebanese, British and Irish ancestry. There were mentally disabled people in the front row. There was a retarded female comic headlining. I mean, it was about the most diverse gig you could get. We hung up the Australian flag on the back of the stage and we all sang the national anthem at the end of the show. Every single one of us pretended to know what GERT meant. Someone just said, that's my auntie. So we haven't lost the Australian sense of humour. It's not gone. They're just trying to stifle it because they're scared. They're scared we might think for ourselves. I'm so happy, I'm so proud to see you all here today. Thank you for being here. And now we're girt by extremists. So I've been cancelled for jokes. I did some jokes. I'm from Alice Springs. I did some jokes about drinking in Alice Springs with the locals, and they cancelled me. They called me racist. I was like, guys, I'm not racist. I don't think white skin colour is superior. I'm so white, I've actually got tinted moisturiser on my legs right now for your eyes. One time I was at the pub in Alice, another time. I don't drink anymore, by the way. It's not because I got a problem, it's because I got heaps of them. But my Irish ancestors are pissed. And they're pissed. But I was at the pub in Alice Springs one time and I was wearing shorts and it was quite cold. And this Aboriginal guy came outside holding his beers and he stopped and he looked at me and he went, "You're not white, you're purple." Like, taking the piss out of each other is Australian. It's not punching down, it's humility, it's mateship. If we can't laugh at each other, then we're not Australian anymore. Saying certain races of people can't be joked about isn't progressive, it's actually racism. Telling kids that they're either good or bad depending on their skin colour isn't kindness, it is cruelty. And saying that, you know, on the 26th of January Indigenous people can't cope, it isn't anything but belittlement. Yeah, belittlement and bullshit. It's just, it's ridiculous. And we're not doing it anymore. Happy Australia Day. Yeah. Keep laughing, keep loving your country. All skin colours are equal, but all cultures are not, and the Australian culture is worth defending. The threat against it is real, and we must laugh in its face. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Thank you so much. I'm going to try and sing a song with the band. We'll see how we go. Oh yeah, any venues, hit me up. I'll do a show. Yep. Hello? Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. So I'm going to start controversially. That's all there is in the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. I want to thank every single one of you for coming along, spending your Australia Day with all of us, because we all think just the same. We really, really do. And I'm going to take you through just a couple of things, because I've only got 3 to 5 minutes and I'll try to keep it to 3. The reality is, in our country today, the glass is full. And what I'm talking about is carrying capacity. Some people call it immigration, but I don't want to go to jail today, but let's just call it out for what it is. We've got to stop immigration now. Right now. Who agrees with that in the audience? I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why we've got to stop immigration. My kids and your grandchildren, they're never going to be able to buy a house. They're never going to hardly ever be able to get into hospital. One of my family the other day is very, very sick, waiting in the corridors in an emergency ward for 2 days before she got put into a private room. This is the country we're living in today. You can't buy a house, you can't get into a hospital, there's not enough infrastructure. We all know, we've heard from so many politicians here today, The ones that are in government aren't getting it right. We've got people like Robbie Katter doing a great job. We've got people like Pauline Hanson and Malcolm Roberts doing a great job. We've got so many good people, but I'm sorry to say there's a lot of arseholes mixed with them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the solution button, and I'm going to really keep my speech short. Join a political party. Join a political party that sounds like family first, people first, one nation, the Katter Party. Join them. I'm serious, absolutely serious. You might hate politics to death, but if you don't join a party and get out there and get involved and run for politics, we don't need super professional people like lawyers. We don't need all those lawyers in politics. We need everyday Australians in politics, people who want to make a difference, people who actually give a shit about their kids, their grandkids, and the future of this great, great country. I want to keep coming to Australia Days until the day I die, because this is the best country in the world. Who agrees? I would love to hear from you people. I've got a Facebook page, it's called Steve Dixon Queensland. I want to know, when you join a political party, if you get a chance to pick the candidates, because that's really, really important. You don't want candidates picked from people upstairs. You want to pick from the rank and file, and that means you. And that's why I'm saying, join a political party, because you get a vote on who gets elected in your area. Most people don't understand that. And if you don't do that, you've let yourself down, you let the country down. So God bless each and every one of you. Keep coming to these events. And I want to pick out Scotty Challen, wherever he is. Scotty Challen is a bloody hero. Put your hands together for that man. Last thing I'm going to leave you with, love your family, make a difference, because if you don't, we are absolutely stuffed. And I'm going to give you a piece of financial advice.
Top Turnbull. Rightio, we got one more. And we're bringing him in with an AC/DC.
Well, I thought this was fitting. The next speaker loves AC/DC. But his whole story, I said, I was having some troubles in life. I needed someone to sort it out. And some guy goes, mate, I know someone to do some dirty deeds. And he'll do them dirt cheap. And his name is Chris Reynolds.
This guy, he had a croc farm where he handles animals, and he's like probably one of the most famous social media dudes we got here. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming.
G'day folks, how you going? Now, firstly, I'd like to say I'm not a politician, okay? I'm an Aussie larrikin that likes to take piss out of people online, okay? So I'm not normally used to speaking in front of large groups like this, but Scotty has asked me to do a few lines. So I took his advice, I went out the back, I did a few lines, and now I feel fucking awesome. That's a joke, folks. Remember those? Remember those jokes? But I'd like to say, folks, that first off, I'd like to start my speech well. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Yugara people. I'd also like to acknowledge the current owners, the Chinese Land Acquisition Company, Pty Ltd. I know it's a joke, but we're not far from it, are we? You know, it's just about there. And that's the thing, folks. You know, I'm a larrikin. I'm an Aussie larrikin. We're losing our larrikins. We're losing our ability to take the piss and have a bit of a laugh. You get branded and labelled if you just have a bit of a laugh. And that's one of the things Australia was founded on, the Aussie larrikins. I mean, when you go back to World War I and World War II, our diggers, they were famous for being fearless fighters and fearless men, but they were also known for being larrikins in the trench and always having a bit of a laugh and having a bit of a smile. You know, we go up to the heydays of our culture. You know, the 70s and the 80s, when we had larrikins like Paul Hogan, Norman Gunston, you know, all these sort of guys, Dame Edna Everidge, you know, Ernie Dingo, the Wog Boys, all these guys that like to have a bit of a laugh, and the nation laughed along with them. You know, no one got offended, and we built our culture on that. Okay, back in the 80s, we had a Prime Minister that set the world record for drinking the fastest yard glass of beer. How bloody Aussie is that? I reckon Albo would have a hard time sculling a glass of milk. And I use milk because that's what pussies drink. But honestly, folks, there's nothing wrong with being an Aussie larrikin. There's nothing wrong with having a laugh. There's nothing wrong with being proud to be Australians. And as I look out over all you guys, It makes me really proud that all you people are standing up for our country, standing up for what we believe in, and standing up for being Australian. For let's face it, folks, we do live in the best country.
To my mouth, okay. A little bit nervous. Friends, patriots, fellow Australians, look at us. When I stand here today, I don't see a crowd of numbers or statistics. I see Australians, real Australians, who still believe that this land, this culture, and this future is worth fighting for. We live in a time where loving this country is treated like a crime, where raising our flag is mocked, where pride in our heritage is twisted into something ugly. I've been called names, slandered and labelled an Aussie cooker, simply for saying what every generation before us understood instinctively: Australia is worth defending. Well, if believing in our borders, our families, and our national identity makes me a cooker, then I'll wear that label with pride. Because that means we haven't forgotten who we are. While they throw insults, we're the ones looking honestly at what's happening in our streets, our suburbs and our communities. We're told by certain leaders, many of them women, who claim to speak for all of us, that we must practice what I call empathetic self-sacrifice. A kind of political, emotional persecution. I demand that Australians give endlessly, absorb endlessly, and tolerate endlessly, even when it harms our own people. They preach limitless compassion for the world, yet show silence, indifference, or outright dismissal when us Australian women raise concerns about our safety, dignity, and the right to walk freely in our own neighbourhoods. And I ask you, is that empathy? Is it empathy to bring in immigration at a scale that crushes housing, strains services, and leaves young families with no chance of owning a home? Is it empathy to ignore the fears of mothers and daughters so that politicians can impress international organisations and global audiences? True empathy, real, grounded Australian empathy, starts at home. It starts with protecting our sisters, our mothers, our daughters. It starts with ensuring that the people who built this nation and the people who will inherit it are safe. A leader's first duty is not to the world. It is to the Australians standing right here. And where are all the men in this? For years, our culture has tried to convince men that their strengths are dangerous, that their instincts to protect and provide are outdated. We've watched a slow erosion of confidence, a cultural message that masculinity itself is a problem. And what has that left us with? A society where men are discouraged from standing tall and women are left wondering who will stand beside them. Yes! So true! We are living in a time of upside down morality, where victims are questioned and criminals are excused, and patriots are treated like threats. They want us to be quiet, they want us to be compliant, and they want us to doubt ourselves. To the 60,000 legends in Make Australia Great Again Facebook community, you are the digital frontline You are proof that this movement is not fringe, not small, not fading. It is growing. It is energized. It is unstoppable. Today is Australia Day, a day of pride, not shame, a day of unity, not division, a day where we honour the courage of those Australians standing right here. We honour the courage of those who built this nation and the responsibility we have to protect it. It's time to stop apologising for our existence. It's time to stop policies that weaken our future. It's time to stop policies that reclaim empathy not as a weapon used against us, but as a value we extend first to our own people. My name is Jasmine. I'm an Australian patriot, and I'm a proud Aussie cooker. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Well done, Jasmine. Thanks, Jasmine.
And destructive to our social cohesion. For without assimilation or integration, this is an invasion. And now our streets echo with languages not our own. Our youth will grow up as a minority in the country their forefathers bled to build.
You can be used out in remote areas if you want to come over, if you're so desperate to come over here, but they never do. They let them just do what they want, take up the housing that Australians would otherwise have. And I think that's the great arbiter. When we're letting people in, it's will you defend this country? Will you defend this country like I would? Because if you're not, I mean, some of these buggers, I reckon would be fighting the other side if we went to war. That should be a pretty good arbiter of whether they should be allowed in the country or not. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the political dimension of all this, because it's great that we're here. We have this movement building in Australia, and movements are very distinct to political parties and politics. It's a horrible bloody institution, but it's the best thing we've got at the moment that governs our laws is the Parliament. And you need numbers in Parliament. And I've had family in politics now for 100 years. I just counted before in Australia. My grandfather, my dad, and myself now 14 years. I don't know if it's anything to brag about. If someone spends so much time in it, I don't respect it so much. But it's what we've got to work in and fight in that place. And we need people, we need bums on seats to translate what we're saying here, these values. We need to translate that into legislation to turn this stuff around. And that's the problem lies therein. We've got 3 seats here in Queensland. We've isolated 3 or 5 seats. We've just mainly kept to just North Queensland most of our 14, 15 years of life. Dad's been in Parliament 50 years. Our party's been around 14, 15 years. One Nation's doing fantastic at the moment in the polls, and they top the floor. And you know, I've got utmost respect for Gerald Rennick, Senator Babbitt. There's so many people here playing around in the same area at the moment, and what keeps coming to me is, what are you doing? what are you doing? You need to come together. And Sam Bamford, I was watching him the other week, and he hit me between the eyes. He said, you guys got to drop your ego and start working together. And that doesn't mean there's one doing the other. That means you've got to work together. And I think that's what you people want to see. And I've got to eat that as well. You know, we like running around and show you've got your principles and values you've had there for 90 years in the family. You want to keep that going. But I think what you people deserve is to translate this movement in Australia, is to not let it just end up in one election or one term or one entity. I think we need to come together. I think we've all got something to contribute. And that's the commitment I give to you people here today. I think it's what Australia needs. It's been wanting for. And Sam, I think you had it right. I think a lot of us have to bury our egos and come together. You know, there's two seats that we've lost in Queensland from this bickering that we've had as minor parties, and the big major parties just end up winning. We've got to beat that, and that's what I commit to you here today. God bless.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you. You know what? Today we ignite something powerful. Today we ignite a movement. That's what we do. A movement rooted in common sense. Common sense. A movement driven by the values that
Oh yeah, any venues, hit me up. I'll do a show. Yep. Hello? Yep. There we go. There we go.